One of the things I said in the panel discussion earlier today is that one of the paradigms which I learned from Buddhism very early on in my early reading was the Eastern view of looking at opposites. Instead of seeing life and death, or wellness and sickness, for instance, as being fighting against one another, is to see the complementarity of those things together. That it's not a war. You can't have life without death. You can't have death without life. Or wellness without sickness. You can't have positive feelings without negative feelings. About finding an equanimity within those two things. And where Dharma practice bears upon the kind of issues we see in relationships and the difficulties that come out of them, it's not about, as I was saying in the panel discussion, it's not just about having a Buddhist view. That may be helpful as a starting point. But really, the Buddhist view, when we talk about right view is not a fixed view. That's exactly what it isn't. D.T. Suzuki, who was one of the great Zen scholars who brought Zen to the West, said that right view is no fixed view. It's about having no view. And when we're in relationships, we get locked into fixed views of ourselves and often our partner. And it comes out when we use absolutist language like you always do X, Y, Z, or you never do X, Y, Z. Absolutes. And so if we're intimate with another person, we've been with them for a number of years, we build up this fixed idea of who they are. And then we're married to the idea rather than to the other person. And we don't really see them as they are. We don't see their Buddha nature. And it becomes a kind of film that stops us from seeing clearly. And so the challenge of the practice is to dissolve those fixed views so we come back to suchness, the suchness of the other person, or the suchness at the moment that we find ourselves in with them. So, to me, the Zen Buddhist approach to relationships is not about finding some formula, about having no formula. It's been having total flexibility to respond to the moment as it is. To quote Robert Aitken again, Robert Aitken said that a Zen life is not just sitting on a cushion that helps you to break down these rigidities, but a Zen life in action is making the appropriate response to each moment as it arises. And you can't get into fixed views about what to do because each moment is different and unique in itself. But our wisdom and our compassion will come forward in a natural kind of way. It will more likely to come forward in a natural kind of way to meet the appropriateness of that, if the appropriate response to that moment, if we get out of our own way. We don't have fixed views. Something similar in CBT, when we look at core beliefs and so on. Core beliefs are fixed views. And they get in the way of us relating to ourselves or to others. And you dissolve them and something is freed up. So it's important to look at these fixed views, not only in terms of views that we have of ourselves, but I'm taking it a step further. The fixed views we also have of our partner. As I was mentioning on the panel discussion, that's why it seems to be striking the chord with some couples that I'm working with, both in the session and as homework to do, to introduce them to the idea that their negative ruminations about the other aren't just harmless, they actually, they affect the way they relate. And what I often do is I often mention to them, I'll give them personal examples about, when you have a conflict with your partner and you're irritated with them, haven't spoken to them for a day or whatever, and you just ruminate on them about, all their different negative qualities that they have. She always does this. And you just get caught up in it. And it's automatic thinking. And then when you say you come back and you meet your partner at the end of the day and you say hello, you don't see them as they are, you see it through this film of rumination. And people get it. They seem to relate to it well. And I emphasise, I'm not getting into whether your view of your partner is accurate or not, because you live with one another and you know each other very well. I'm just saying that going over it and over it all the time is the problem. And a lot of people have come back and said, wow, that was really different, and it really made a difference. And if I practice that, I connect more with my partner. We just seem to connect in the moment more rather than having this fixation on one another.